Okay, welcome everyone to the Judiciary Committee meeting on, this is our 9:45 agenda this Thursday morning, April 2 here in 016. We have three sets of resos on our agenda. We do have a 2-minute time limit for both Zoom and in-person testifiers. And if we have a catastrophic problem, we'll try again in this room at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, April 7, 016. Oh, first up, the first set of resos is Senate Concurrent Resolution 64 and Senate Resolution 58, requesting the United States Congress to remove cannabis from the Federal Controlled Substances Act, provide support to states that are clearing defendants' records of cannabis offenses, and facilitate access to the full spectrum of banking services for cannabis-related businesses. First up on STR 64/SR 58, we're going to hear them together, so just one set of testimony. First up is Steve Alm for the prosecuting attorney for city and county in opposition. Next is Shelby Pikachu Billionaire on Zoom, maybe.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
In support, Robert Bentz for Hawaii Sustainable Farms on Zoom. Good morning.
Aloha, Chair. This is Robert Bentz in strong support. I really love cannabis for the medical benefits. It's the only reason I'm still alive. According to several doctors, I had a random birth defect that was so large that Maui doctors came to my house and to my farm because they were amazed it didn't rupture. And it was treated with radiation and it had a stroke. And the only reason I believe I had that stroke is I did not use my medical cannabis. So why I really strongly support federal legalization for medical purposes. This bill for descheduling would really help medical. It would also help hemp because it is all the same plant. And as long as it's used responsibly for those that are adults and education and aloha and not profit motivations shape state policy, I believe the more freedom we have from the federal government, the better. 24 states already have it, but I appreciate your time this morning and mahalo.
Thank you very much. Next up is Karen O'Keefe for Hawaii Alliance for Cannabis Reform, also on Zoom. Good morning.
Aloha, good morning. I'm Karen O'Keefe. I'm with both the Marijuana Policy Project and the broader Hawaii Alliance for Cannabis Reform. We support the resolutions which call on Congress to remove cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act, support states' record clearance for cannabis, and to facilitate banking access for cannabis. 24 states have legalized cannabis for adults 21 and older, and 40, including Hawaii, allow medical cannabis. Yet every single cannabis consumer, patient, and worker remains a criminal under federal law, and that needs to change. Cannabis prohibition wastes tax dollars, it perpetuates racial disparities, and it deprives people of their liberty for a plant that is safer than alcohol, and that for many is over-the-counter medicine. Legalizing and responsibly regulating cannabis grows the economy, increases freedom, and promotes health and safety. Federal support for expungement is also important. Since 1990, there have been more than 21 million arrests for cannabis in the US. Those records make it hard to get housing, employment, and loans, and occupational licensing. A lifetime of stigma is inappropriate for cannabis, and clearing those records is a moral imperative. Finally, access to banking is important for safety and to enable social equity applicants to access loans. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Next up is Hawaii Organization for Progress and Equity and Support, Eva Andrade for Hawaii Family Forum. In opposition, Josh Frost for ACLU of Hawaii. In support, Nico Leverance for Drug Policy Forum of Hawaii. In support, Teresa Armbruster. In opposition in person, no. Courtney Kachir in support, Michael Galoyo Sr. in support, Johnny Mayel Perry in opposition, and Wendy Gibson Viviani in support. That's everybody who signed up on SCR 64/SR 58. Would anyone else like to testify on these two measures?
Chair, we have someone on Zoom.
Yep, go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Pikachu Shelby Been here live. I fully support this measure because, cannabis, marijuana, whatever you call it, weed, it's an herb. So I would be an herbivore. Now, this helps anxiety, depression, but people need to know what kind of medicine they're having. One is sativa. The scientific name is called cannabis sativa. So that helps with the mental programming to help you think smarter, make neural connections. The other one is indica. So if you're having construction, it's called indica. So depending what kind of herb you have is depending how you're going to determine. Most popola will do indica if you're in New York and Brooklyn. That's why they get the bad rap of they're doing bad stuff on weed. It depends on how you use the medicine. So you're having hard construction work, back pain and stuff. Instead of doing the other white pharmaceutical drugs, people use cannabis to help ease the pain, anxiety, and stress and depression. For indica, sativas, the mental upper, fixer upper. People put it in brownies. If you gave this to Donald Trump, we wouldn't be in any wars. Nobody on weed has ever started any war. They're going to chill, relax, and they're going to follow whatever they're going to do and follow the law. So this helps relax everyone so they don't fight with you. They don't argue. If more people were on cannabis, there'd be less fighting in the road and more love. So please support this bill. It's an herb. It grows naturally. It will be here before us. It will be here after us. And we all call it Pakalolo. Chihu! Yeah, you! Aloha!
Thanks very much. Anyone else wish to testify on these two measures? Seeing none, members' questions? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next set of measures, STR 81 and SR 71, requesting the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women in collaboration with the Department of the Attorney General to establish a working group and provide a report to the legislature on ways to strengthen protections for survivors of image-based sexual abuse. First up on SCR 81 and SR 71 is Mark Tom for the Attorney General on Zoom, maybe,
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
with comments. Next is Chris Caulfield for Imu Alliance. Morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. I'm Chris Caulfield, speaking to you today as the president of the Imu Alliance. We're in support of this resolution. Thank you very much for hearing a number of measures related to image-based sexual abuse this year and thinking about them so thoughtfully. It's an issue that's growing in our society. Just to provide some context, 1 in 12 adults have experienced non-consensual distribution of intimate images, according to national studies, and nearly 1 in 5 young women report being subjected or threatened with it. It has serious consequences, including depression, anxiety, suicidality, financial, academic, housing, and employment instability and advances in artificial intelligence are only making the problem much worse. I myself am an image-based sexual abuse survivor, so I can attest to how emotionally devastating it can be. I wanted to broaden out a little bit and provide some social context for this resolution for you this morning, though. Imu has this superstar youth advocate named Amy Zhao. She's the real architect and driving force for this resolution. She's one of the most brilliant, talented, and courageous teenagers I've ever known. She's become like a little sister to me over the last couple of years. She's spoken at the legislature about being a survivor of image abuse and gender violence. She's a senior at Iolani High School, and you may have seen in the news recently that several upperclassmen boys at Iolani were recently disciplined for engaging in misogynistic online behaviors. What they were doing was ranking their female classmates into derogatory categories, and one of the categories that they used to rank young women at their school was how rapeable they were. That's the social climate in which our youth now live. And image abuse is literally and figuratively the most graphic extension of that climate, leaving digital harm that can be nearly impossible to erase from the internet and leaving survivors with psychological wounds that can last for the rest of their lives. I don't want this phenomenal young woman that I've gotten to know and I care for so much to continue growing up in a world that thinks that that kind of emotional violence is acceptable. And I hope that you will move this resolution forward to take a stand on the side of protection, prevention, and justice for her and for future generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is Yasmin Cheney for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Yasmin Cheney for the Commission on the Status of Women. I stand in support of the resolutions and offer the following comments for the committee's consideration to strengthen the effectiveness of the measure. First off, in accordance with public health and sexual violence prevention best practices, the Commission recommends that the scope of the working group's efforts be expanded to include prevention and intervention strategies in addition to survivor protections. Secondly, the resolution Resolutions Working Group membership be expanded to ensure the appropriate stakeholders are at the table, as diverse perspectives will be needed to inform its policy and programmatic recommendations. I put in my written testimony a link to HCR 55 that got passed last session. I feel like that group's composition more adequately will address and enable this resolution to be successful. The Commission is not opposed to the AG's suggestion that the Legislative Reference Bureau be utilized to assist with the legal and policy research. However, we would ask that the AG not be removed from the working group, as the Commission does not have the necessary authority and expertise to ensure the report submitted to the legislature achieves the intended goals. And so that's the reason. And lastly, the Commission would ask that the report's due date be adjusted so that it's submitted for the regular session of 2028 and the working group be dissolved on December 31st, 2027. Thank you for this opportunity to offer testimony, and I'll be available for questions.
Great, thank you. Next up is Shelby Pichaco, billionaire for Kingdom of the Hawaiian Islands and Ohana Unity Party on Zoom.
Hello, guys.
Morning.
Because you shall be a billionaire back. I do approve this bill. We have a lot of work to do. As you guys know, we have Justin Davis, your only U.S. Marshal, who's organ harvesting and smuggling kids' kidneys. They want minor children, girls, 15 and below, before they get pregnant. They're selling kidneys for $500,000. Our report is to DOJ, Police Commissioners, Big Island, and Justin Davis is the only U.S. Marshal who has all keys access to FBI, all that intel on the Big Island. He's hiding somewhere in Volcano because I reported him on Paradise Drive, where one girl was rescued safely, and that's how we got intel from one girl who had to get rescued out of there. Right next to the fire truck, 22 Paradise Drive, they had a hidden dungeon where they were chopping up bodies, and the girl saw it. And there's organ harvesting Hawaiian kids' kidneys for $500,000 each. You know, we got 2 kidneys, that's $1 million. These are serious crimes going down. You also know I'm familiar with the Ariel Sellers case. We still have the surviving daughters, and the girls are still alive. But there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done to help the victims and survivors, if they're still alive, not chopped up bodies from putting them in dog cages and acid down the toilet bowls in Waimanalo. These are some serious crimes, and we need your help to help protect our people, help protect your children and grandchildren, because it's a world transnational crime, and you know it's in the Epstein files. Donald Trump is on there for raping little girls, Katie Johnson, and more, all funded by the Rothschilds, and Jared Kushner is a part of it in the brains. So please do what you can do to make sure this passes to protect all of our keiki for future generations and beyond. Love and aloha. Peace.
Next up is Terry Lum for Hawaii State Chancellor of Children's Justice Centers in support. Next is Hawaii Women Lawyers in support, and Leimomi Khan in support. That's everybody who signed up on SCR 81, SR 71. Anyone else wish to testify in this pair of resos? If not, members, any questions? If not, let's go ahead and move on to the last reso of the agenda, which is HCR 184 and SR 165. This is requesting the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission to examine the applicability of existing state anti-discrimination laws to algorithmic and automated decision systems. First up on 184 and SR 165 is Shelly Pichaco, billionaire, on Zoom.
Oh, you guys are lovely with me today. So quick. So I'm just going to say yes, get this on, because I want to hear Brenton Awa say yes to one of these bills. He always says no. So today I want him here to say yes. Aloha.
Okay, thank you. Next is Constance Yonashiro for Hawaii Civil Rights Commission with comments. And that's everyone who's signed up on this pair of measures, SCR 184, SR 165. Anyone else wish to testify on these two resos? Seeing none, members, questions? Okay, I guess we're ready to vote. Everybody okay with that? Okay, let's go back to the top of the agenda. This is SCR 64, SR 58, requesting the United States Congress to remove cannabis from the Federal Controlled Substances Act, provide support to states that are clearing defendants' records of cannabis offenses. Recommendation here is to pass the SCR and SR with amendments, technical amendments, including specifying in the title of the request is for Congress to enact legislation to cause the other actions to occur, and delete two clauses about alcohol and tobacco as they seem irrelevant to this particular reso. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SCR 64 and SR 58, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments with all members present. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measures are adopted.
Thank you. Next pair up is SCR 81 and SR 71, requesting the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women in collaboration with the Department of the Attorney General to establish a working group and provide a report to the legislature on ways to strengthen protections for survivors of image-based sexual abuse. Our recommendation here is to pass with some amendments. We'll go ahead and add a Legislative Reference Bureau as one of the collaborators for the working group, but we will leave the Attorney General on the Reso 2. And we'll make the report due 40 days before regular session and have the report due before the 2028 regular session, not the 2027 regular session. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SCR 81 and SR 71, Chair's recommendations to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measures are adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SCR 184 and SR 165, requesting the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission to examine the applicability of existing state anti-discrimination laws to algorithmic and automated decision systems. Our recommendation is to pass as is for both these. Questions or concerns?
Just for
Oh,
the
yeah, go
record,
ahead.
since there was a request, yes,
Yes.
there was a request to hear yes, yeah, so I'm just.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Any other comments? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SCR 184 and SR 165, Chair's recommendations to pass unamended. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measures are adopted.
All right, thank you very much, members. We have DMs for the 3 judges that we heard the other day in about 17 minutes. This clock's a little slow, so 10:20, we'll be back in. We're adjourned. All right, welcome everyone to our, this is the Judiciary Committee's 1020 agenda. This is a decision-making only agenda on 3 judiciary communications for 3 district court judges that we heard and interviewed a few days ago. First up on this agenda is Judiciary Communication number 23, submitting for consideration and confirmation of the District Court of the First Circuit, judicial nominee Kersha Kuulukani Milianani Durant for a period term to expire in 6 years. Recommendation on JC 23 is to consent. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On JC 23, the recommendations to consent, Chair Rhodes.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Sanguin Ventura.
Aye.
Senator Owa.
Aye.
The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. That's one more step. Next up is JC 24. This is submitting for consideration and confirmation to the District Court of the First Circuit, also judicial nominee Simeona Lynn Liliokalani Anhuna Mariano for a term to expire in 6 years. Recommendation here is also to consent. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On JC 24, the recommendation is to consent. With all members present, are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Congratulations. Moving on. Finally, JC 25. This is submitting for consideration and confirmation to the District Court of the Third Circuit, Island of Hawaii judicial nominee Andrew Michael Kennedy for a term to expire in 6 years. Recommendation here also is to consent. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On JC 25, recommendation is to consent. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. We're adjourned. All right, welcome everybody to the next Judiciary Committee hearing this Thursday morning, April 2. This is our 10:30 agenda. This will be Governor's Message 674, submitting for consideration and confirmation to the Civil Rights Commission gubernatorial nominee Alfonso Braggs for term to expire June 30th, 2029. If we have a crash, let's see, will we move if we have a crash? So Tuesday, we'll go to Tuesday. I'm sorry, the 7th of April at 9 a.m. Sorry about that. Hopefully we won't crash. 2-minute time limit, and we'll start with the testifiers here on behalf of Mr. Braggs. First up is Jade Butai for Hawaii Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. In support, Marcus Kawatachi, Executive Director for Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Rhodes, Vice Chair Gabbard, members of the committee. It is a true pleasure for me to be here today. My name is Marcus Kawatachi. I'm the Executive Director of the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. I'm appearing today on behalf of the staff of the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. You've seen the overwhelming testimony in support of Alfonso Braggs, and those were from people who have known Mr. Braggs for much longer than I have. I've known him for a relatively short time, but I've known him by reputation for quite some time, and his reputation has been impeccable. And so I got to know him personally when he became the interim commissioner and the interim chair of the commission. And from that moment, I could tell his reputation was very well deserved. He's been serving the people of this nation honorably for his entire life. He has been, for decades, a champion of civil rights within the state of Hawaii. And in his performance as the interim chair, it's been outstanding. And so he's been very knowledgeable. He gives everyone a fair opportunity to express themselves in meetings. And he's very open to ideas and is just a joy to work with. So as you can tell, he has my personal strong support. And on behalf of the staff of the commission, we really would be honored for him to be confirmed as our next commissioner. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next is Keith Ayashi, Director, Department of Education and Support. Daphne Barbie for African American Lawyers Association on Zoom.
She's on Zoom.
She is. Ms. Barbie, you there?
Hello? Yes, I'm unmuted.
We can't see you, but
Let me try to. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Go ahead. Good morning.
I'm first? Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
good morning. It's such a pleasure to see the nomination of Alfonso Braggs and have him serve as an interim chair. He is a very hard worker and he's extremely fair and patient. He will listen to diverse views, and he offers a very good perspective because he served on the military honorably. And he's been the president of the NAACP for many, many moons, over 10 years, and has served in that capacity. And people don't want him to go. I understand he's going to resign this year. People don't want him to leave because he's just a very compassionate, understanding, and he's a fighter for civil rights. And that's who you would want as the chair on the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. And so I'm very pleased to see him being nominated, and I hope that all of you will indeed confirm his nomination. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Joshua Asugueda, President, Rotary Club of Downtown Honolulu. In support, William Kaneko for Hawaii Coalition for Civil Rights. Also in support, Amy Agbayani. In support on Zoom, maybe?
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
In support. No one else has signed up to Zoom or in person. Everybody else is in favor. 29 support, no opposition, no comments. Does anyone else wish to testify on GM 674? On Zoom or here? Seeing none, members, any questions for the testifiers we've had so far? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Braggs, if you'd like to come up and make an opening statement, you're more than welcome. Morning.
Aloha, Chairman, Vice Chair, and Committee. Mahalo for the opportunity to appear before you today. And I see that you've already received a number of letters and comments regarding my confirmation. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful for those kind words and support of all who have submitted testimony. I just want to take a couple of minutes here and address the why I would make a good commissioner for the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. I do bring a lifetime of private and public sector leadership, commitment to community, advocacy for civil rights, and a discipline for ethics and integrity. And I do believe in the rule of law and the fair treatment of all persons. And I understand the gravity of this position and the duty before the Civil Rights Commission. And I don't enter, if confirmed, into this responsibility lightly. I recognize that we have some very serious work before us, and it requires an unwavering commitment to justice and equality for all. And I am committed to serving community, have been and always will be. In high school, I served on city council as a youth member, and that was my first public service and oath of office. And I immediately followed 26 plus years of honorable service in the military. And I worked in the private sector for a few years before returning to government. And along the way, I've had the honor of serving in various leadership roles with organizations to better our communities. And I'm grateful to have sustained that commitment for over 50 years. This position, if confirmed, would afford me another opportunity to serve the greater good and continue what I believe is servant leadership. Mr. Chairman and committee, I commit to you all the highest standards of ethical behavior, thoughtful analysis of the matters before the commission, and an immutable allegiance to the Constitution, all federal and state laws, and other governing policies. I am grounded in my service to humanity by a set of foundational principles, which are as old as time. Simply and in priority, my first duty is to my Creator. I believe that I was created to serve a divine purpose. Second, to my fellow man. We are all unconditionally dependent upon each other. And lastly, to myself. I do recognize my duty to show my Creator and fellow man honor, respect, and dignity through service. And this order of priority allows me to stay grounded in such that it benefits humanity and helps me stay focused on what it means to foster space where everyone feels as though they're seen, they can be heard, and they have a sense of belonging. To me, that's what justice is all about. In conclusion, my record demonstrates one who is extremely passionate about justice, coupled with a profound regard for respect for cultural diversity. And I believe strongly in making a difference out of our differences. Civil rights grants us that opportunity. It is the enforcement, though, of anti-discrimination laws, educating and empowering our communities is how we make sure that those opportunities remain available to all who dwell within our shores. And should I be confirmed, and I hope that you will, I promise to bring honor to your decision to entrust me with such a significant duty. More importantly, I will strive to make my ancestors proud and bring honor to the commissioners who came before me. I thank you again for this opportunity to appear and stand available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions? I have a couple I can start with. So obviously the situation of regarding civil rights and diversity, equity, and inclusion at the federal level has changed significantly in the past few years. Can you tell us how that's affecting your work here in Hawaii on the commission?
Well, I will say that the people of Hawaii, unlike a lot of other states, truly feel shielded from a lot of the initiatives that may not have the full force of law because we have protections, additional protections here in Hawaii. So until such time as the U.S. Supreme Court firmly solidifies some of those initiatives, our individuals here are protected, and the Civil Rights Commission, I do say, will stand firmly in protecting the people here in Hawaii.
Okay. Something I failed to ask you when we met privately. We noticed that you're a plaintiff in an active civil rights case, Braggs and Island Alpha Group versus Kenneth Hughley Jr. Can you give us a thumbnail version of what that's about?
That was a business endeavor where that individual.
Oh, so it's not a civil.
It
rights.
is not a civil rights.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread it. Civil.
Yes.
It's just civil court.
Civil.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
All right, so it's still ongoing,
Oh, yes, sir.
and you don't think it'll have you don't expect it
Oh,
to
it
have any.
certainly will not have any impact on decisions or anything that would come before the commission.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Members, other questions? Let's see. See if I have one more for you here. You serve on several boards. You're very active in the community, and you're on several other boards. Are you planning to drop any of those, or are you going to stay on everything?
So I will my term ends as president of the local NAACP, which is an awesome heavy load. And so that does allow for more free time. To be quite frankly, my spouse really goes under the alias of civil rights. So I do have permission to work in civil rights until I can no longer work. And so that frees up a lot of times. And quite honestly, the commission only requires a smaller amount of time in contrast to what the NAACP president did.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Members, any questions? All right. I'm prepared to make a recommendation if everybody's prepared to vote. So chair's recommendation, sorry, I hate referring to myself in the third person. My recommendation is to advise and consent to the nomination of Alfonso Braggs to the Civil Rights Commission for a term to expire June 30, 2029. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
Chair's recommendation on Governor's Message 674 is to advise and consent. With all members present, are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for your willingness to serve. We're adjourned. All right, welcome back to the 10:45 agenda. This is Judiciary and the Committee on Health and Human Services. We have one pair of resolutions on this agenda, Senate Concurrent Resolution 53 and Senate Resolution 51, requesting the Attorney General to conduct a comprehensive study of the Hawaii revised statute to identify provisions in which the term impaired or a similar term is used to describe a person with disability and to suggest disability inclusive appropriate amendments. First up on this pair is Melissa Chi, Deputy Attorney General, on Zoom, perchance.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
In opposition, Louis Erdachik for Hawaii Disability Rights Center. In support, Leland Brady for Aloha Independent Living Hawaii in support, and Johnny Mayel Perry also in support. And that's everybody who's signed up. Is anybody on Zoom wishing to testify on this pair? If not, there's no one to answer questions of. Well, here's what I was thinking, Chair San Buenaventura. I'm okay to switch it to the AG doesn't want it because they think LRB should do it. That's fine with me, but it's your reso, so if you want to leave it at the AG, that's fine with me too.
LRB is fine.
LRB, okay. So the recommendation is to pass it with LRB as the organization that's doing the review. And I think there are some texts as well, and there'll be some conforming amendments to reflect that change. Questions or let me just be sure I got everything. Yeah, okay. Questions or concerns? If not, Sarah Gabbard.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 53 and SR 51 is to pass with amendments. With all members present, are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measures are adopted.
Thank you very much. And for HHS, we are going to defer decision-making to Monday at room 225 at 2:00 p.m. at 2:01 p.m. April 6th. Thank you.
All right, we are adjourned. Thanks very much.
Thank you.